Before I turned on my camera, I actually just found out that there is a big rumor going around that Scream 7 has been greenlit and production is to start later this year. Listen, if that is true, part of me is excited because I want to see more from this franchise, especially with the new faces of the Scream franchise. But the other part of me wants this franchise to just absolutely stop putting out these movies. Like, stop. Please stop. I'm begging you, bro. Please. So Scream 6 is the 6th installment in the Scream franchise. The movie is directed by Tyler Gillette and Matt Bettinelli-Oplin. I am so sorry if I butchered any of your guys' names. Matter of fact, I'm just going to post the names of the directors right here. Boom, there you go. The same guys who directed Scream 5 are back here again to direct Scream 6. The movie takes place a year after the events of Scream 5. Here we have our 4 main protagonists from Scream 5 back here again in Scream 6, who are played by Jenna Ortega, Melissa Barea, Jasmine Savoy Brown, and Mason Gooding. Now listen, if you've seen any of the Scream movies, you kind of know how these movies typically go. The story takes place in Woodsboro, or a brand new location. You have a brand new Ghostface killer, and now you have bodies dropping left, right, and center, and it's up to our main protagonist to find out who the killer is and why, along with a little sprinkle of corny dialogue and meta humor. Now off the rip, I gotta say, this is probably the most vicious, most intimidating, most menacing Ghostface we have yet to see in the franchise. If you look back at the previous films, Ghostface in those other films, he was kind of a clumsy klutz. Like, he was slipping and tripping over inanimate objects. He was running into things that he clearly saw coming from a mile away. But here in Scream 6, he's taking no prisoners. He is just stabbing whomever comes in his way. He is shooting people with shotguns. And he just is just so menacing that it is unforgivable. And I have to admire and appreciate that. But in all honesty, I think this might be my favorite Ghostface yet. Another thing that I really want to compliment are the 4 main protagonists, Sam, Tara, Mindy, and Chad. I thought the chemistry and the dynamic between the 4 of them were just amazing. Because you can tell that after the events of Scream 5, that tragedy really brought them more and more closer together. And you see the love, support, and care they give to one another. And I think it's just a really beautiful thing to see. Also in this film, they brought back Kirby Reed. Now, Kirby Reed was a character who appeared in Scream 4, and she was one of the biggest highlights of Scream 4. And in here, she is also one of the biggest highlights in Scream 6. I just think Kirby Reed's a really interesting character, and I appreciate them for bringing her back in a way that didn't feel forced, or it wasn't just for nostalgia purposes. Like, she actually played a pivotal role in the story. So thank you for bringing back a cool character and actually incorporating them into the story really well. Now, Courtney Cox does reprise her role as Gale Weathers in this film. And while I did enjoy seeing Gale on screen, I felt that Gale didn't really have a major role in this film. I don't want to say she was kind of just there. Like, she did play a role in this story. But I felt that the way they brought her in, the way they weaved her into this story was kind of like, oh, cool. But I think they could have did something a bit better with that. That's just me. And for those who may be wondering, yes, Neve Campbell, who plays as Sidney Prescott, is not present in this film. And the reason for why I believe this is the case is because the studio simply did not want to pay Neve Campbell the money that she rightfully deserved. Hence why Sidney Prescott was not present in this film. Now, while it was annoying to not see Sidney Prescott in this film, that kind of didn't ruin the magic of Scream for me. You know, it just didn't. However, for Scream 7, I hope that she does come back because it's only right. Also, one more thing that I almost forgot to mention. I really loved the meta commentary in this film. I loved it in Scream 5 and all the other predecessor films. But in this one, I really, really loved it. I would talk about it more, but I don't know if it will really be considered a spoiler given the fact that this movie is a requel, which is a sequel to a sequel of the original movie. Huh? Now, when that scene does come up in the movie, yo know, and when it does happen, it is just chef's kiss. Funny enough, I don't really have a lot of problems with this film. Except for one. This movie suffers from what I call past PAS, plot armor syndrome. I won't get too much into detail as far as that, but just know there are characters in this film who get shot, stabbed, and fall from great heights and literally does not die. That kind of ruined the experience for me a little bit, because in real life, as a human being, you would have died in that very moment, and some characters don't. I'm just going to leave it right there. Take that information how you will, but that's my biggest problem with the film, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But guys, in the end, Scream 6 is a pretty fun movie. In my opinion, I think it's better than Scream 5, but I think overall there is something for everyone to enjoy in this film, especially if you are a diehard Scream fan. I think you will definitely appreciate this one. So plugging Scream 6 into the rank system, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the pass zone. I probably would have put it in the pinnacle zone if it hadn't been for the insane plot armor the main characters have. That kind of ruined the experience for me, but overall, it's still a fun movie. Better than Scream 5, and I think there is a lot in this film to appreciate. But yeah, guys, in the end, that's pretty much my review for Scream 6. Let me know down in the comment section what you thought of Scream 6. Did you hate it? Did you love it? Do you think it's the best one in the entire saga? What do you want from Scream 7 if it happens? And are your sinuses also acting up right now like mine? Let me know down in the comment section down below, and I will see you all in the next one.
After working up the nerve, almost equal in size, I walked around with the iron for any wrinkle in time. I paid a piece of my mind for every nickel and dime, but never less than a 5 and never slept on the job. A killer crept on your squad, yet never left the garage, where your guide was close enough to see the flesh of his eyes. Get to the button and press, it's what the message advised. What's the threat behind the vest is where the testament lies.